Well, surge relief comes in a couple of forms too. Because of this water hammer, we have to protect against it if somebody accidentally throws a valve wide open. So we can use that spring-loaded surge relief piece, or we can use a surge relief valve that will sense a surge and open up and allow water to exit the system while the system is filling, so that we fill it slowly. It actually will sense high velocity and open and eliminate the high velocity by bypassing some of the water as it fills. So we do have some very sophisticated valving that can do that, and that again is a very intricate bit of design work that takes a little more knowledge than we have for this class. And air relief, we have to make sure that we can vent the air out of those lines so we don't have pillows of air blocking the flow down a line at every high spot. And we talked about that before. We have to skim the air off the high spots. And in hydraulics, what happens is if we start getting a big air bubble, we've reduced the diameter of the pipe, increased the friction loss in the system. You get a high spot in a pipe, and you start building air in here, and look what's happening if this is all air. If I don't vent it out of there, look at the cross-sectional area. Here I have a nice big flow, full flow here. What's happening right here? Man, I am really limiting myself to the flow. So I've effectively created a throttling effect, or a partial valve due to the air cushion. It acts as a restriction in the pipe, just as if you crush the pipe half flat. Now what happens is, as this is flowing through here, the water to get through here has to increase in velocity to get by it. You're still pushing the same amount of water coming down here, but when it hits this point, it says, man, I still got it. Say it's 1,000 gallons a minute coming down a 10-inch pipe, gets down to here, and it's still 1,000 gallons a minute. It's going about 4 feet per second over here. It gets to here, all of a sudden it has to speed up to like 8, 9, 10 feet per second to get the same amount of water through this restricted area. The only way to get the same water through a smaller area is to make it go faster. Only makes sense. Then once it gets over here, it slows back down again. Well, eventually enough air gets built up in here that the velocity gets so high that it will grab a big old bubble of it and sling her on down the line, and you'll burp out a big old air bubble. It'll peel a piece of that air out of there and send it on down as an air bubble, and it'll come down and burp out one of the laterals somewhere down the way, or a sprinkler head. So every now and then you'll have this exhaust of air out of a sprinkler. All of a sudden there's no water comes out of it for a part of a second, and you get this big sprinkler fart, you know, for lack of a better description. And so that can be a real bummer. And that can put a shock wave into the system too, when you send those air bubbles down. So we have to protect against that. Okay,